So from a perspective from a virus, it's everything's golden, everything's good. Hey, we're replicating, everything's good. And what these humans are dying? What the heck?
That's so incredible.
Daniel's reaction. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this podcast of A Day of GTV. I am your host, Rubianne Rodriguez, and today we have Daniel, and then we have Michael.
Hello.
So, the topic that we will be talking about today is about the coronavirus. It's on everyone's minds. It's scary, and it happens.
It'd be like that, bro.
Yeah.
It actually doesn't happen. I mean, it's been 24 plus years, and this shit don't happen, Ruby.
I'm sorry. It hasn't happened in 100 years.
Yeah.
1920. Wait.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Right? The influenza,
Yeah.
when like millions of people died.
Mm-hmm. So obviously, this coronavirus is very scary for a lot of people, but then some people aren't taking it seriously. Some people think it's like man-made, like someone did it to reduce the population. Some people say it's Bill Gates who started it. I don't know, but
I think Dwight Schrute did it. This man, there's an episode of The Office where he said that we need a new plague. And I don't know, man. That's just been in my head. It's been in my head ever since this has been happening.
Wow.
All right, we keep going. I'm sorry. Wow.
Wow. No, it's okay. 'Cause it's getting to the point to where there's professionals saying that it's going to last for probably about like another 18 months, like 12, 18 months, which is kind of the scary part because there's no official vaccine for it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think that's just like a scary thing because especially like if the stay at home order, like for here in Houston, if that goes, like if it, once it finishes on April 30th, I feel like after that time, there are just going to be people who are like I'm done. I'm going to go to this bar, or I'm done. I'm going to go to this place where there's a bunch of freaking people. Yeah. And then I feel like it's going to go back up again because no matter if we're still here in quarantine and we're kind of trying to flatten the curve of what they're saying, like I feel like once April 30th is gone, everyone is going to be just going out, and I feel like the numbers are going to get a lot worse, in my opinion.
I mean, once they're not gonna like not change it. Also, I feel like if it starts getting worse and worse and worse leading up to April 30th, they're gonna say, okay, well, another month. Let's do another month, kind of thing. They're just not gonna not renew the stay-at-home order after April 30th. Like they're gonna assess the numbers and see where things are going, like everywhere, and then they're gonna make that decision. I don't think it's just gonna stick to April 30th. It's probably gonna move past it. Like there's events that are canceling, like EDC in Las Vegas moves from like mid-May to like early October.
Mm-hmm.
So even events in May like that gigantic are being moved. So I don't think it's gonna stop at April 30th. It's definitely gonna move more if it becomes more. If it just keeps increasing numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
What do y'all know of the Spanish flu?
I have no idea.
That it killed like 1 million people, right? Was it that
I don't remember the number, but it started in 1918, I think. And I read, and it lasted up to 2 years because some of the countries around the world lifted their lockdown too early, and there was a third wave that happened in 1920. But it started in 1918. So basically, some countries got a little fed up, and they released. How do you say it? Like lifted the lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
So released the Kraken.
Basically, so there was a new wave, and it came back, and they had that trouble again. So they had to lock it down again, and then that's how it got improved.
Yeah, and like, because I was hearing on the news a few days ago that something about Trump was saying that New York doesn't have to be in quarantine or something along those lines, to where everyone can go back to work starting May or whatever. And I was kind of confused and just like, what the heck, like, why?
I think he's just being overly optimistic, but he's just he wants to like give some hope to people, but I mean, some people take it the wrong way.
Yeah, again, it's more of trying to assess the situation. Like you said, Michael, like it's his hope that by May that they would everything can go back to normal. I don't think anything's gonna go back to normal until late this year, maybe next year. Like, it's going to be that drastic, I think so.
Yeah. Because I know for sure, like the MLB, like the baseball, football, everything. Because, like, I know that they were talking about, like, hopefully that they can come back in August. But I'm just thinking, like, that's already too late in the season to play, like, 100-something games. So, most likely it's going to be moved to next year. But, like, if it gets a lot worse, I feel like it would be postponed, mainly because there's still a big population. There still isn't a vaccine until next year, maybe in the summer or something around there. So if they were to open up like everything, like the NFL and MLB, and the NBA too, like I feel like it's just gonna catch again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the NBA season should be canceled at this point since there's been so many games canceled already.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and like finals, I think is in June time, so it's like how much time do people need to get back to where they need to, like ranks wise? Like some teams are relying on certain games to get up and like trying to get that eighth seed or so just to make the playoffs, and so
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think
it's a strange situation.
It's just scary though, because they're saying that there's people who show symptoms, and then they're saying that there's people that don't show symptoms, and they can like pass it along to others. So
yeah, asymptomatic.
Yeah,
I think
asymptomatic. So I think that's just like the scary part, because recently on the news they were saying when you go out now, you have to kind of like keep in your mind and think that almost everybody has it, so that you can kind of like keep your distance. And then they were saying like to wear mask now that when you go in public. So
did you see that Amazon is blocking purchases of N95 masks and gloves and like sanitary wipes? If you try to go to Amazon, it'll and certain items, it'll say reserved for hospitals and like stuff like that. Like it'll prevent you from buying.
Wow.
Yeah, because some people are trying to like gouge price the hell out of them.
Oh, did you see that guy in New York that hoarded like 1 million N95 masks?
Gosh,
didn't he sell those for profit, or was that someone with toilet paper?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, he was selling the 700% profit on each one to the hospitals. So not even to like regular people, to the hospital. That's horrible.
And also to bounce on that, so there's this guy who I watch who he goes into the dark web to see if he can buy toilet paper, and on the dark web because he wanted to buy I think 100 toilet paper rolls, and then the price came out to be 13,000 Bitcoin money. So I don't know how much that is in US
One
dollars.
Bitcoin is 6,000, almost 7,000.
13,000
People are crazy. Oh my
Bitcoin.
gosh. And then
I'm looking it up right now.
okay.
It's $88 million. Gosh.
for 100 toilet paper rolls. Okay. And then I watched this other guy who he also goes into the dark web, and he was trying to buy some Germ-X. So he bought some Germ-X, and some came like half filled, and like those little, like the ones from like Bath and Body Works and whatnot. And then once he put it on his hand, it was like burning his hand off, and like right here is like all red. Yeah, so he was just like, okay, nobody buy hand sanitizer from the dark web. And he had like
Why would you buy anything from the dark web in the first place? Like,
that was probably hydrochloric acid or something.
Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh. Anyways, So, recently, so Michael, you already saw the Reddit, but I don't know if Daniel has heard the story. But this guy, he's a bus driver in, was it Michigan, Mike?
I think so.
So this guy, he's a bus driver, and he was recording himself after an incident that he had. And in that incident, while he was driving the people from the bus, he said that there was a lady who was coughing about 5 times without closing her mouth. And he was basically saying that she was coughing like a baby. And that there was like 80 other people in the bus. And after that video was released, because on March 25th, it was when the bus driver was feeling ill. And it was 4 days after the incident. And a week later, he already passed because of that lady.
That guy in the video?
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So Glenn Tolbert, the president of Amalgamated Transit Union Local 26, said Jason Hargrove, the bus driver, started feeling ill on March 25th, 4 days after the incident on the bus, where like the lady was constantly coughing without closing her mouth or anything, and he died a week later. So maybe like April 1st. That's just 1 week time span, and that dude looked like he was like in his early 40s.
Damn.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's so sad, like in a situation like that, because like there's people out there that just don't take it seriously. So I just think that it's just a load of trash. But then
I wonder how common that actually is, though. I mean, it's horrible. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah.
I don't know if a lot of people are doing that or not. I don't know.
Maybe, but Danny, did you hear about the story of the lady who like coughed on food in the grocery store?
No.
Okay.
I read it from the stuff you sent us. The agenda that you sent me, and yeah, I saw that, and I was just like, "Are you kidding me? Like, does she just want to see the world end?"
Yeah.
But go ahead, tell the story. Tell the story.
Okay.
Tell the story.
So for everyone that's listening, so the story came out on March 26th on NBC, and a woman named Margaret Kirko, who's 35, who purposely coughed on $35,000 worth of grocery store food in Pennsylvania, and she was charged with 4 felonies. So while she was doing that in the store, she continued her behavior in several aisles before attempting to steal a 12-pack of beer. Like, that's so important. Okay.
Wait, time out. This is a question on this. What kind of beer are we talking about?
It didn't say the type of beer, but...
Tragedies. Maybe Corona?
I was about to say that. But,
all right, move on.
So she was arrested and charged with 2 felony counts of terrorist threats, 1 felony count of threats to use a biological agent, and 1 felony count of criminal mischief. And she faces misdemeanor counts of criminal attempt to commit to retail thief and disorderly conduct. So I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. I kind of want to know the thought process behind this lady's actions. Like, what made you want to go out and just cough on things? Like, I don't understand. Like even before all of this in general, like, why would you just like purposely cough on things for the sake of just not being a good person? And I understand there's not good people out there, and that sucks. But like, it just seems like a odd thing to do. Especially during this time, now that, I mean, this whole sickness is going everywhere. Like, it's just fucked up. It just makes no sense, and I don't know. It just baffles me how incredible people can be, how horrible they can be. I don't know, man. It's crazy.
And Mike, what was that quote that you sent us yesterday of Joe Rogan? What was his quote that he said?
in one of his episodes, it was a couple weeks ago, he said, "I don't want anyone to die from this disease, but I would like to lose a significant portion of the moron population."
On the other news inside, so China has reported that 3,299 deaths.
China.
Yeah, China. So
China.
deaths have occurred in China, and everyone knows that it started there in Wuhan, and it's like the epicenter of like the global pandemic and stuff. But one funeral home received 2 shipments of 5,000 urns over the course of 2 days. So do y'all think they lied about their numbers?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, for sure. I really think they lied about the numbers. I mean, they have like so many people there, and I don't know, just for a country to have has like billions of people in their country, like I don't think it stopped where they say it stopped. There's definitely information being withheld.
Yeah,
and
they don't want to make it. They don't want to show how bad it really is. Now there's beliefs. Well, they're actually still looking into it. They believe it's from a bat, and they believe it jumped from a bat to a pangolin.
Oh, that animal that looks like a armadillo.
The sand shrew.
So like
the sand shrew.
It mutates. It mutates, and somehow it made its way to a human, and that's how it started. Apparently, but they're still looking into that. Apparently.
Yeah, because apparently they sell the sand shrew like scales or something. I call it the sand shrew. I don't know what the actual name of the animal is. I'm gonna call it the sand shrew, and you're gonna accept it, all right?
Yeah, I'll put a little picture.
They cut off the scales. They're actually made of the same material as like our fingernails, but they use their scales for traditional Chinese medicine.
Yep.
There's a lot of professionals saying that there's no basis in medicine like that, like all that belief that they have.
Yeah,
but
it's all sold on the black market kind of thing.
That too, yeah, because there's a lot. They kill a lot of endangered animals.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking the other day, I want to see a picture of a rhino with a horn, because you don't see that anymore. They're always dehorned, even the ones in reserves, because they don't want poachers to go in there and cut them and kill them to cut off the horn. Like even the ones that are protected have their horns cut off, and I wish I could see a rhino with its horn.
Well, we did see one, the white rhino in Orlando.
Did it have a horn? I don't remember if it did or not.
I thought I saw it with like the thingy.
Maybe.
But
I'm trying to
remember. Cool to see them in person.
Maybe.
I'm trying to remember if I saw one at the zoo. I know for sure I saw a rhino at the zoo. I'm just trying to figure out if there was a horn on a rhino.
Yeah, so, but recently I read an article yesterday that there is kind of like a good news about a short-term vaccine. And it's a doctor from San Francisco. His name is Jacob Glanville. And he was featured in the Netflix documentary of Pandemic that came out, I think, the very beginning of this year, which is very ironic. Y'all should watch it if y'all haven't seen it. But he said that he has discovered a potential virus cure, which is currently being tested by the U.S. military. So he said that it's 5 antibodies that back in 2002 were determined to bind, neutralize, block, and stop the SARS virus, and evolve them in labs. So now they're like blocking and stopping the CoV-2 virus as well. And the antibodies will be sent to the U.S. Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Diseases. Wow, they need to put acronyms on that or something. Oh my god, that's so long. And then they were saying that if it's successful, that Dr. Glanville says it will act immediately against the virus and last 8 to 10 weeks. And it's a short-term vaccine, but it works immediately. And so he said like normal vaccines take 6 to 8 weeks to take effect. And then whereas in his, since it's a short-term vaccine, it could take effect in the first 20 minutes that it's injected into your body. And so he says If given to a COVID-19 patient with those 20 minutes of receiving the shot, the antibodies will surround and stick all over the virus and make it to where it's no longer infectious. The disadvantage is that the antibodies will only protect recipients for 8 to 10 weeks, unlike a true vaccine. And
I mean, if you can mass produce it, I feel like that'd be a great thing. Because if it immunes them for 8 to 10 weeks, then I mean, isn't it just 2 weeks that we need in order for us to know if we have it or not?
yeah,
I feel like though it has a disadvantage, I think it's a good disadvantage. You know.
Mm-hmm. And it also says that if it all goes well, Glanville's team will be like partnering with like 2 companies to like ramp up the drug. And they will begin human trials at the end of this summer. And at the earliest, the drug can be released in September for compassionate use, treating patients with the medication outside of the clinical trials.
When did all this happen?
So this was just released yesterday, the article. It was from the New York Post.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I heard of another vaccine that Trump was talking about. He was saying that they started human trials already, like a couple weeks ago.
And
Usually they start with animal trials, but
well, maybe they've already been doing animal trials.
There were yeah. Well, I don't know. there was just people that were just like really sick, and they're like, "Give it to me, I don't care." Shoot me up, die.
I mean,
Shoot me up, die.
yeah, I mean, like, if you're in that situation that you just, like, can't breathe anymore, like, I for sure would want to take something to see if it'll help or not, instead of, like, not trying it and then just thinking, like, oh, maybe I should have tried it, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but, yeah, and I wanted to ask y'all this. So, do you think, with everything that's happening, do you think socially it's going to be like a big effect? Like, you know, with like businesses and how like people shake hands when they meet and, you know, like conferences or something. Like
Yeah,
what do y'all think?
I look
gonna
at old videos of people shaking hands, and I'm like, wow, that's gonna be the old world. I hope we go to like what Japan does, where they kind of just bow. Because it's like there's actually like normal flu viruses, they get transferred so easily by handshakes, and
Yeah.
it happens all the time. Like I bet if we just stop doing that, I bet even the flus would go down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to change that lifestyle. I feel like bowing is very respectful in general as a greeting. So if we can move towards bowing, I might just start doing that now. Honestly, that sounds like a really cool idea. Like, seem like Arian Foster when he scores a touchdown. Just
Because one of my tias came by to drop off something, and we told her like, okay, elbows. So we only greeted with like our elbows, but like I don't know, because like now I just kind of don't really want to touch people if it's just like with like their hands. Like I'd rather just do an elbow or a knuckle touch like Howie Mandel, because he's a germaphobe, so he always does that when he greets people. But
I'll do one better. Just do this.
it was
just say
No.
so.
because I watched something a while back of a lady who back in her 30s, she would always shake people's hands, and she noticed she would like get sick yearly, sometimes twice a year, 3 times a year, blah blah blah. So whenever she changed her mindset of just greeting people with knuckles, she's rarely gotten sick, and she's like in her 70s or 80s or something like that. But I think that's like a good way for people to kind of like move into that instead of like doing handshakes and stuff. So
It's something we definitely have to change. I mean, there's especially the next couple of years, it's gonna something's gonna be different.
yeah.
I'm sure the next couple of years
Yeah.
it's gonna
And
be something to acclimate with, but
Yeah.
I feel like it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be companies that also make permanent changes, because there's a lot of people working from home. They're like, oh, this is fine. They don't have to drive. we can still get work done, hopefully. And I don't know, everything's gonna change some way or another.
Pollution has changed, that's for sure. But yeah, I don't know. It's really crazy. And in y'all's experiences, how has it been going in like the areas where you are, like stores, restaurants, anything that you've seen?
I don't know if I'm like experiencing that it's not as crazy, or I'm just getting used to it in general. But like I remember the first time that I really kind of experienced like, holy crap, this is pretty wild, is that I went to Walmart and Walmart was closing. Walmart was closed like past 10 p.m. Like I was trying to get inside and the managers were like, yeah, we're not going to open until 6 in the morning. We're going to be closed for the night. I was like, what? Walmart's actually closing? I don't know. That was a really big thing for me as an American consumer.
Mm-hmm. I just thought that Walmart a couple weeks ago, and I don't know, like the way they, like I saw people, no one was wearing a mask, no one was taking precautions, and like even at the front, they ran out of hand sanitizer like at the beginning to wipe down the carts, so like it was so weird. And then I went to Sam's and it was much better, just because at Sam's you can use the application. You can literally scan all the items with the phone, and you can buy straight from the phone. And then you never have to get near anybody except at the very end where they scan your phone to confirm your purchase. So Sam's is a good place to go. I like H-E-B though, because when I went, they had security only letting people one person in at a time. And they don't want families going. They just want one person at a time. So they let one person go to the cart to get their cart, and they go inside. And once they're inside, you know, they do their business. And I know, Ruby, you said at your H-E-B they don't let like 5 people per aisle or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then at the checkout line, they have stickers on the 6 feet apart, to telling people that they could only stand there if they're waiting in line. So H-E-B is doing a really good job.
Yeah,
I going to Walmart and those other stores, it just makes me not want to go to Walmart anymore, like ever.
Yeah, like recently on the news, they were just saying like Walmart is doing like a terrible job, but other than that, I think H-E-B is probably like the top notch, the best store that's really taking precautions for their customers and also for their employees. And I remember when the first stay-at-home order came about, I think it was, 2 weeks ago or something, when it, like, first started, that I went with my dad, and we were going to get a cart, and then an employee was outside, and he says, do you need a cart? And we're like, yeah. And so he gives us the cart, but he wipes it down before we go in. And I was just thinking, like, wow, like, that's, like, very nice. Like, thank you. And then it was crazy because, you know, you go in and then you see the vegetables and fruits are all gone. I've never seen something like that before, which was like really scary.
Oh, really?
And then the meat section, everything like was just gone. And I was just thinking like, why? And like how?
Yeah.
And it just kind of made me think like, it makes me want to get real life chickens so that I can have an unlimited amount of eggs for breakfast,
we have
lunch,
plenty
and
of
dinner.
eggs. Holy crap!
Michael has chickens. He's
We
the lucky
we get
one.
11. We get 11 eggs a day. We can't eat them fast enough.
Shoot,
Egg omelets every morning.
Yeah, and like, cause when everything is happening, like the whole food shortage situation, like the first thing that I thought was just like, I already want to like get a chicken, like what Michael, like what they have over there, because it's just a unlimited food supply. Well, you have to wait until they're like 2 or 3 months after they are like little chicks until they like start making eggs or something. But yeah, like I was already just thinking about that, and then my parents were like, I don't think the homeowner association would allow that. We could keep it a secret.
It won't hurt to ask. I mean, more and more people are getting chickens, actually. I've heard.
That's smart. Yeah, and
you gotta start growing your own stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's what you gotta.
And
yep.
I actually started I know Michael knows this, but Daniel, like, I bought a bell pepper plant, and then also my mom let me get bell pepper seeds, and it's like the multicolored bell peppers. So right now I'm growing that, and they look really nice. They're my little babies.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now during this whole quarantine. But another story was when I recently went to Academy, like just 2 weeks ago, because we were gonna get some running shoes, and then when we're walking in, this guy is walking out on the phone, and then he's telling the other person, he was like, yeah, all guns and ammo are sold out here, so I'm gonna go check another firearms store to see if they have any guns. And I'm just thinking, like, is that really something that's on people's minds for like last resort and stuff? Because honestly, like what Denise said, if she's listening, hello. What Denise said, she thinks this is like The Walking Dead, where like people are gonna, you know.
Oh yeah, I feel like if it starts getting super drastic and like, the government takes really bad steps into making this a lot more difficult than it is or should be, then yeah, people are gonna start like protecting themselves and be like, I'm gonna get this and I'm gonna get it no matter what, and people are gonna start going crazy and stuff like that. So people are trying to find ways to protect themselves, of course, and so yeah. Yeah, people are trying to find ways in general just to protect themselves, and I mean, if that's the way they want to do it, then go ahead.
But it's for me, it's kind of scary, mainly because of like how over the years there's a lot of shootings, and it's always just like that one crazy person who does it, and with all, because like even in California, their academies are sold out on their guns as well, so it kind of like. It's scary to think about that. What if there is someone who just bought a gun just so that they can just go ham in a store and just take everything for themselves, you know? So I don't know.
And that's when it begins. That's when it starts. That's when The Walking Dead will begin.
No, dude. Like I was telling Jose, Mike. I was telling Jose, like, if an apocalypse were to happen, if everyone was just going crazy, the first place I would go to is Enchanted Rock, because you're up like 1,000 feet on the rock and you can see everything around you. So
hopefully nobody snipes.
No, yes, but if you're in the rock, but if you're in the rock, you can build fortifications around you, and you can actually like see. You can maybe have your night vision goggles and stuff. You can have like your own hen house on the side. So I don't know. I mean, that was just like the first place that I was thinking, like Enchanted Rock, to hide there or something. The other question was, where do you think the numbers will be in the U.S. by May 1st?
In the United States.
Yes, in the United States. Where
in the U.S.?
Yeah, in the U.S., not like in the world, just like the U.S. in general. Because right now, I think it's where is it at? Is it like
280,
in the
270,
US,
280, 270?
It's 300 now. Yeah, 300.
What the
what?
heck?
Are you kidding me?
301,000 cases and 8,000 deaths. 700 deaths today.
Dude. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm looking at it through this thing.
It's blurred.
I can't see it. Click on it.
Oh wait, hold on. Let me take off the blur my background.
Yeah, the blur is blurring it.
Yeah. So
global infections are at 1.18 million. That's crazy.
I can barely see that.
Wait.
There you go.
There you go. 301 and 769 deaths today. 8,000 plus deaths in general. Dang, dude.
Yeah.
And like the majority of those deaths are in New York. It's freaking crazy over there. Right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They have like a ton of them.
And Louisiana, New Orleans is getting worse and worse. Like, 'cause they have a lot of their population is like overweight, like high blood pressure, diabetes, and those are what the virus hits most. People like
Yeah. That's scary too. Because it's weird because last week I was keeping track of how many cases there are in the U.S. and it was increasing by 20,000 almost every day, but now it's more like 40,000 and then more like 60,000. And like, because last night I just looked at it and it was like 180,000, and now 300,000, 301,000.
Definitely
Yes.
exponential.
Yeah.
Yesterday it was like 270.
Oh, it was at 270 yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, frick. Okay, never mind that.
That's the exponential growth
It's ridiculous.
Oh, wow.
of the amount of cases day by day. So it goes up also because they're doing a lot of tests,
Mm-hmm.
like a lot. They even want to do like 100,000 tests a day. Trump said.
Yeah, that's
Dang.
crazy. Yeah, I know here in Houston they already opened another free testing site. I think there's 3 or 4 now. Something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, just looking at the numbers and with the US, because US is going super, super quick. Like, I just remember in February, there was only like 5 cases. Like, at the end of February, there's 5 cases.
Yeah.
In a whole month, dude.
Yeah,
In
dude.
a whole month, we're at 300K. It's gonna be at least 1 million by the end of this month.
In the US.
I feel
I think
in the
you're
U.S.
right.
alone.
I mean, I don't know when it's gonna spike though. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to predict.
I feel like if it keeps going this way, then yes, 1 million will be the mark at the end of this month.
I think
And then
minimum,
just-
1 million is the minimum. I think cases. Yeah.
Cases.
I don't know. Maybe
But it's
you're
just
right.
in the U.S.
Because I didn't see the 300,000 until you said it just like a couple of seconds ago. But because honestly, I was thinking 600,000 in the U.S. But now that you said 300,000 already today, like that number changed for me. So it's I'm probably gonna feel like it's gonna be like 1.2 million.
I'll keep it at 1.
Back to the testing thing. What scares me about that is that some testers are having to like reuse their personal protection equipment, like their the face mask and stuff like that, because they're running
snap.
low in some places, so they have to like reuse them, and that I don't know. It's not good. Like, imagine going to get tested and you go negative, and then later on you start feeling sick. You test again, and it's positive. That happens a lot, actually. I don't know if it's because the virus is maybe this virus just spreads so slow that you could have it, test negative for it, but it's just growing inside of you so slowly that you won't get positive until.
Sorry, the way you said growing inside of you, that kind of just like freaked me out for a second.
Well, yeah, they infect the cells.
Yeah, because
they
they
inject
in
their
the
DNA. It's
sorry.
scary.
How dare you? No, but yeah, just like because they just clone and clone and clone and clone.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's probably the scariest part in general is just how you don't know you have it. Like, even if it's in you, you don't know. That's probably the scariest thing to me. That's when I started getting like really. That's when in my head I was like, oh snap! Like this is like for real. Like, or this can be like way worse than anything that we've kind of encountered. Is that you don't know that you have it even if it's in you. Like it's crazy.
I feel like the incubation period for it to like spread everywhere in your body is like 2 weeks, maybe, or I don't know until you
It's
start.
2 to 14 days.
I don't know.
Something
But
like
it's I think it's just scary how, because I saw a video of a doctor explaining how you can die from it and the doctors can't save you, and the reason being is that the virus attacks something in your lungs to where your lungs start getting like holes to where you get fluid in it, and like all that gravity is pulling it down to the bottom, so you just feel like very heavy. And then there's cases where people were saying that they feel like they can barely take tiny sips of air, and I think that's what scares me the most, because like you're basically drowning and you're not in water. And I don't know, I just think that's that's probably like the most scariest thing, because I know, for one, having panic attacks are like the most like crazy dumb feelings ever, because you're just constantly breathing and breathing and breathing and breathing, and like, and there are situations when they're taking tiny sips of air and just constantly trying to breathe. Like, I don't know, like, that's just very scary.
That's what the ventilators are for. They're like inducing the oxygen into your lungs, because there's like these little balloons that inflate and deflate every time you breathe, and those are the balloons that are getting filled with liquid when you have that infection, and it becomes hard to breathe.
Yeah, that's just the scary thing about the virus in general, how it can really kill you. There's something else like on the, I think it was like on Twitter, but this lady, she was like, I think 80s, 90s, but she was already dying from the virus, and they offered her the ventilator, but she said, no, I don't need it. I lived a good life. Give it to someone else younger than me. And just reading that, like, I don't know, it's just kind of sad. And then also, like friggin' people are still going out there with, like, a bunch of, like, people that they don't know. But those people can have, like, a lot of issues with their body. Like, heart problems, high blood pressure, or whatever.
Diabetes.
Yeah, and that can affect them so bad. And I think that's just, like, the main thing nobody realizes. And when this whole stay-at-home order is going to go off in Houston, everybody's going to, like, not give a crap and just go to, like, those places that's, like, jam-packed with people. And then...
Well, a lot of those places are closed. Like, there's no kind of way
I hope
to go to, like, bars and stuff. Yeah, they're going to stay closed for a while. I mean, they're not going to let them reopen, but I mean, when it comes to like different like parks and like beaches and stuff like that, people still can go because it's an open area.
Speaking of parks,
and those.
Oh, sorry. Continue.
Oh, that's pretty much it. Yeah, what's up?
Oh, but speaking of parks, over here in the trails, because I recently went like a couple of days ago, but when I went, I was realizing how many people are in the trails. I'm just like, frick. I'm going to try not to breathe when I'm biking through these trails, because, I don't know, it's just like a really, really scary thing, because now there's more people in the trails. In the park behind that junior high, there's a playground, and they sealed it off with caution tape, and even like that workout area where you do like the bar section, they already closed that off. There's caution tape, and I've never seen that before, and yeah. Like, it's just a lot of people
are getting restless just staying at home all the time. They want to get out of the house, and then there's people going out.
I mean,
I think it's better. I mean, it's better to stay indoors, especially these next this whole month. I think it's important to not go out, not even get near people at all.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like, whenever I do go outside, it's either if like I'm gonna help my dad mow the lawn, or either go in the backyard and just like do whatever. But yeah. I like
to cruise around in my car. That's probably one of the things that if I want to get out of the house, I just kind of cruise around in my car and listen to music.
Yeah.
At least for me, that kind of helps out a little bit, just to like get me out. I'll drive to Galveston and then drive back, just because it's a good just kind of like hour of me being able to get away. The whole cruising and then listen to music, and I don't have to go out and talk to people or anything. It's just me going out, maybe put the windows down and just be around the water, not even getting off, just cruising around the seawall and then driving just back home.
Yeah. And I think that's just the best thing that people can do right now is that if they're like going crazy inside of their house, they should just like take a drive outside, or either just like go in their front yard or backyard and just like chill, play frisbee with yourself or something. Oh no.
Play fetch with yourself.
I said play fetch with yourself.
Buy a boomerang, bro. Buy a boomerang.
Dude, okay, Michael has a boomerang. We try to see if it works like in the cartoons.
It doesn't work that great.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. I think I bought one forever ago from like Walmart or something. And it was like a wooden one. It seemed like it was well built, and like we tried to throw it. You're supposed to throw it a certain way, but like you're supposed to like chuck it
Yeah.
Like, chuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Michael's is a wood one too. And we try to like our best to like freaking fling it or whatever, but no.
I even try to flick it, but no, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Mm-mm. No.
Try to throw like a frisbee. Do the chicken wing.
Oh,
fucking...
dude, the chicken wing throw. Like if people want to like go outside, I mean, you know, yoga or just like workout or meditate, do something. Not just like, I don't know, because like I think like because when I went to the trails like 4 or 5 days ago, I think that was the last time that I'm just gonna go, because I don't know, like now it's just getting crazy, and I don't even want to like even see my neighbors.
Yeah.
You never want to see your neighbors. What are you talking about?
like I don't want to go outside, and I don't want to conversate.
Put a sign.
Because I
Put a
conversate
sign
with my
outside.
neighbors.
Go away.
I never wanted to talk to you in the first place.
Or I can just paste it on my car window or something. Just like put a piece of paper on
You
there.
said piss for a second.
Wait, what?
I thought you said piss for a second.
No.
I thought you said I was gonna piss on my car window. I'm sorry.
Goodness gracious.
So, what is your level of concern, and when is the first moment you realize that this is serious?
Do you want to go first or me first? Dan.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Alright. Out of 10, 1 out of 10, I would go with a 7. Like, level of concern. Because I think the rest of the 3 is just different ways that we can prevent us from getting it and our loved ones from getting it. But the 7 is just basically us having to acclimate to a different lifestyle at this point. And just realizing that this isn't something that's just gonna go away. It's things that we have to kind of like learn to live with, and so I think that's why it's something that's very, very difficult in a concerning way. I don't know, like it's very scary, but at the same time I know there's ways to prevent it, like you yourself.
For me, my concern with it, it's pretty high, but like since I'm used to being a hermit, I'm not I'm not like too worried about it because I don't really go out that much anymore since graduation. So I mean, because I have TV, I have an Xbox, and I mean that's all I can keep myself entertained with and just work out inside. The moment that I felt it was serious was when they closed down the rodeo. Like they just started closing down things one by one. So that was a moment where it was just like hitting me that things are gonna change like crazy, like socially. All it takes is for a big global event or something big to happen for a big change to occur. It was just like during that time when they started closing the stores and restaurants, and where you can't go in the restaurants but you can get it to go. That's when I noticed like well crap, like this is real. It's just like things that you would see from the movies, and it's just like happening. Recently we went to Mod to get it to go, and there was only 3 employees working there, and it was just crazy because you see all the stores around you are just like there's no one, like no cars or anything. So yeah, it hit really hard, dude. I don't know, I mean, like, I'm glad that I'm a hermit. For me, it's easy to deal with it because I'm already used to being in the house. But level of concern is still high. Like,
I mean, it's so difficult for me because I'm like a social butterfly. I like going out and talking to people and stuff. I don't know. I don't like being home for too long. I'm gonna start reading books.
Whoa!
An extrovert reading books. It's wild for me.
I recommend audiobooks.
That's what
No,
I
actually really enjoy like I don't know. Yeah, if I'm gonna read, I'm gonna read, because if I do audiobooks, I'm just gonna like veer off and not pay attention to it.
Yeah.
I should
get
probably-
it.
I get too distracted.
Yeah, I should probably start reading the Lord of the Rings book because I only went to chapter 1, and then from there I just stopped. But
I'm gonna read this one. My sister got it for me for Christmas this past year. I'm gonna finally start reading it. That one, and I ordered another book about like recording, audio recording by Al Schmidt. It's called, yeah. So.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So.
and then also J.K. Rowling. I don't know how you say her last
I think
name.
it's Rowling. I'd say Rowling.
Rowling. Okay.
Go with that. Yeah.
So she was saying something that she's gonna let the audiobooks of her Harry Potter books out free so that like kids from school who are like in their homes can just like read
them.
and,
It's pretty cool.
yeah. So I thought that was really nice for her to do. And when I saw that, I was just like, man, I've never read any of the Harry Potter books. I should probably.
Prisoner of Azkaban is the shit. I love that one. Favorite book ever. It's so good. Michael, you're paused, butter? Oh, I think, is that someone coming up to the door?
Oh, I think that's his mom.
Oh. Hi, Mom.
Because, like, I just see, like, a random person, so...
Yeah, I know.
That's his mom.
That door. My first thought, again, was the Walmart thing. That's when I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is actually, like, pretty crazy. And then also, the next day when I did go inside, it was all empty. Not all empty, but just, like, the meat aisle was completely just obliterated. Nothing was there or anything. Mm-hmm. He's back!
Yay, you're back!
That was weird. Everything froze.
Did someone come to your door?
Yeah, I think that was your mom, right?
What? What are you talking about?
Oh my god!
What? So are you telling me we caught something? Did your mom come into your room?
No.
Dan! Okay, Mike, let me tell you.
What?
So while you were frozen, you're frozen like this, right? And then over here, your door looked like it was open, and it looked like your mom was standing there.
It looked like somebody came into your room. It looked like a body was coming.
Like a door open and a human figure just standing there.
Did your door open at all right now?
Nothing happened.
Well, that's the end of this episode. I'm out. I'm out, bro.
Ghostbusters.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's weird. That door has not moved whatsoever.
No.
Bruh.
Oh my god.
Bruh.
Dude.
That door was definitely, while you were frozen, that door was open and somebody was coming through it.
Yeah. No, because once this video is going to go up on YouTube, you're going to see that your person is frozen, like, and someone was right behind you. Like a figure.
Yep. Believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it.
You'll see it. Yeah. So, Michael, since you asked us that question, what are your answers for your own question?
So, my level of concern, I base it on, like in the past, there's been people, in history, there's been pandemics, like 1700s, 1800s, 1900s.
The Black Plague.
And now 2000s. And it's just something that humanity is going to have to, I don't know, it's like we keep forgetting our past for some reason. And
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we have all this technology, we have the capability to remember it, and I think we should take advice from our past. And it's not exactly the answer that that maybe y'all aren't looking for, but I don't know. It's very serious. Like I'm very, very concerned.
Yeah.
And the first moment I thought it was serious, probably around the same time, like the rodeo. I don't know. Do you remember what close first, the rodeo or if they canceled sports?
The rodeo.
The rodeo was first?
The rodeo and then the sports. Because I remember it was just the cook-offs that were starting. So that was the beginning of March. And then more towards the middle of March, I think the 15th of March, that's when they closed down the spring training.
Yeah. Yeah, it was around that time that I mean, even before that, I was listening to the news and stuff, and you hear the things going on in China, but you don't really know how bad it is until it hits locally, you know? Weird. I guess that's why all these other like, I don't know if you heard, like, the president of Mexico, he was like not taking it seriously and like all this stuff that I don't know if y'all heard, but he was only doing that just because there were so little cases. And I mean, even me, I was skeptical like in February, like, oh, it can't happen to me, right? Like, to us, to this country, like we're so used to everything we have and like this, like how advanced we are, and we don't know how vulnerable we are. I don't know.
No, ooh.
Mother Nature.
Yes, Mother Nature. She is terrible right now. No one likes Mother Nature right now. They will hate her for all of 2020.
I think Kobe was holding everything together, and once he died, everything just hit the fan, bro. It's because of Kobe died. Make a rip Kobe.
I forgot who it was. Or no. It was Dane Hebert. I think he tweeted or retweeted something about like everything started going downhill after season 8 of Game of Thrones.
Do you think this is a government-made virus? Do you think this was artificially made? It's called conspiracy theory now. Do you think the government created this and is now? It's like, man, the population is too large. Let's just bring a sickness that'll kill the old people, and then we'll be okay. What y'all think?
Well, if we're talking conspiracy, not like real facts or anything, just going off, just like shooting the gun, you know? I mean, because it's a virus that we are not immune to. It has never been in our system before. And I don't know, maybe some people could think it is man-made. Someone probably evolved a certain virus so that it's just a lot worse for humans. So, if we're speaking conspiracy.
If you ask me that question, I would be... it's because they asked an expert that question. Like, it was... I'm not sure what he was an expertise in. I think in... I don't know if immunology or something like that. They asked him, and he immediately said, without a doubt, no, that it wasn't created in a lab, because you would have to manipulate DNA so perfectly, so precisely, that we're nowhere near that ability. And like, imagine being able to change the human DNA to have 8 arms without any negative effects, and like that would be very difficult. I mean, for me to imagine that, but like to see the expert and to hear him say that it's like without a doubt not like we're decades away from apparently to being able to manipulate the DNA. Apparently, I don't know.
The case is closed.
Nope. Area 51 did it.
You never
Area
know
51 did it.
Yeah, I was gonna bring something like that up because you
Aliens.
don't know what kind of technologies that are being hidden from us or something.
Yeah.
So I listened to a podcast. They're called The Last Podcast on the Left, and they have their own listener podcast to where they give their own stories. So one guy, he didn't share his name, but one guy said that when he was working there at Area 51 for security, he was saying that there's specific levels in Area 51 in the, I guess like in the bunker or something, that that when you go in this to a specific level, they're doing a training for something. Like they have an exoskeleton, because they said that the guy said that he saw exoskeleton on a Marine, and he flipped a car just by having that suit on. And he was saying that they were making another technology that is basically like a microwave heat wave, to where they can press a button and you can easily burn in like 5 seconds. And so he was saying that they have a bunch of tests like that going out. And he said that there was one room that he was hearing like weird noises, and that he checked it out. And then once he got in there, his head started hurting, his nose started bleeding, and everything was going wrong. And ever since then, he's had nothing but like brain problems and stuff. So
Shit.
you never know. I mean, like, maybe something could have started there, because no one knows how dark they are. Because maybe there is, because like some people say that there is a darker government that's kind of controlling stuff, but they're not known. So.
Illuminati. The Illuminati. Or just
I
go
feel
back
very
into white shirt.
skeptical. I'm very skeptical about that. Have y'all heard of Bob Lazar? Okay, I don't want to digress too much. Let's go back to
I mean, if y'all want to talk conspiracy theories, we could always do another podcast.
The lunar landing was fake.
Well, if I want to look at things neutrally, I can look at this whole human, animal, and virus thing as like a balance. So like the balance is never flat. It's always like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's always like a dynamic thing that nature is, and that's how I imagine nature. So there's just things mutating and things eliminating other things, and things always changing, and that's how I always look at it.
So kind of like how a while back you were like telling me about like how plants evolved to make themselves not eaten by animals.
Yeah, that one's
we
weird.
as humans, we as humans are gonna evolve too.
Maybe from the virus's perspective, we are the virus.
What?
And like what you said,
Michael's
Earth,
a different kind of woke.
and the Earth is our host. We're just a bunch of millions and millions of little things, and animals are just bacteria.
Yeah,
The healthy bacteria.
If you're a virus named Bob, you're gonna try to duplicate yourself, and you're gonna have a family, and you're gonna have to destroy these little cells. We call them destroy, but what if they're just eating food? They're just eating the nutrients of the cells, and it's just growing like that. So from a perspective from a virus, it's everything's golden, everything's good. Hey, we're replicating, everything's good, you know. These humans are dying? What the heck?
That's so incredible.
Daniel's reaction. Oh my God.
We're killing the Earth. Oh my God.
So it's all a matter of perspective. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
No, because
I never thought about it that way.
Because there is some pictures going out, like the environment, like in Venice, like the water is clear, and there's like
That's
fishes.
what I wanted to talk about.
Ah, you're welcome. What is it?
Like nature, and like the CO2. There's less cars on the road, so there's there's actually measurable levels that like global warming is actually being affected by all these people that are staying in their homes, and obviously it's not good for the economy, and capitalists will be mad about that.
Yeah.
But I think all of the new data that's gonna come from all of the people staying in their homes and stuff, it's gonna convince bigger companies to push more toward the global warming issue.
Mm-hmm.
Once all this is over with.
Yeah, because like, you know, with China, like when everyone was like staying indoors and stuff, NASA posted like a what was it? It was like one of those thermal things where they like take a picture of a certain thing and like it's like glowing in a certain area if there's like a lot, whatever. But they posted a picture of like from December through the beginning of March, and it showed how like it was very like like super bright
Gradual?
red, and then all the way back down to like there's nothing, and then until March there's like production coming back. So, yeah, so like less pollution, and then Italy, not a lot of people are going out, so less trash.
Water.
And so like the water is better, the fish are back. So like back to that whole evolution thing, and like how like us humans are the virus and the earth is the host. Like because like with all the fishes coming back and the water being back to normal, it's kind of like makes a point that we, like, us humans are the cause of, like, you know, global warming, even though there's people that just say global warming is fake. So
I saw pictures of I don't know, it was somewhere in California, but it was like a normal suburb area, like with homes and stuff and close by.
Mhm.
And that was a picture I saw online of mountain lions walking around.
oh, that's so cool. Wow.
I mean,
Super dope.
it's I don't know. Maybe they're just walking around. They're like, why is it so quiet here? Everybody's at home.
Yeah.
But what makes me like kind of iffy if whether or not the big companies are gonna pay attention to these new stats of like in whenever 9/11 happened, they stopped all the planes, right? Like shortly after it happens, they stopped all the planes, and they analyzed the air, and there was much less pollution from like the jet fuel exhaust.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But I don't know if a lot of people know that, but obviously this coronavirus is like global, so hopefully this is gonna be like
a grilled chicken sandwich, or
Me
the
too.
grilled sandwich. Huh?
I'll
What?
take a grilled chicken sandwich
They're saying that they'll take some too.
Oh,
too.
hi.
Do you want to say hi in the camera?
Sure.
Here, so you can hear them.
Hey Ruben.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
What's going on?
What's up, Ruben? Hey,
What I do?
I'll give you $20 if you go bring me some food.
$20.
$20.
That's a deal.
That's a deal.
I can't promise it'll be corona free though.
Oh shit.
What y'all been talking about? All I hear is, well, lately I've heard like conspiracy talk coming out of everybody. And a ghost.
We're saving that for another podcast.
A ghost was
Yeah.
in Michael's room or something.
Dude, yeah. Oh my
Oh.
god, there was a figure right behind him, right there.
Like
There's nothing there,
his
guys.
door was open.
Oh,
His door was definitely opened. Okay.
that's spooky.
Always closed.
Hey, spooky. My block. I know what y'all talking about. No, nobody. Okay, cool. Bet. I'll just go.
Oh,
What the
snap.
heck?
Master Chief has
Michael,
entered the chat.
you should go out to the stores like that so that you don't contract it because you have your face covered.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That's lit. Why is there a zip tie on it? What's going on? Oh, is that the headphones?
Yeah, I put the headphones on it.
Okay. Wait. I gotta get mine too.
Oh, Danny's gonna get something, I think. I think I have it.
Look.
Oh, is that from Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess?
Yep. Best game ever. Midnight
remember
Wolf
that.
Link.
Speaking of Zelda, I've been playing Link from the Past.
Like a Link Between Worlds. That was a good one.
Is that one of the newer ones?
Yeah, that one came out on 3DS, but that was a few years ago.
I'm playing
Link
Link
to
from
the,
the Past.
on the Switch? The one on the Switch?
Who, me?
Link from the Past?
Yeah.
The Link from the Past. No, I'm using an emulator on my computer. It's like
Oh,
one of the
the
first
originals?
Zelda. Yeah.
Keep it on, keep it on, keep it on.
I'm gonna head out because I gotta go get the food and stuff, but maybe
Sounds good.
next next podcast I'll join up.
Sounds
Okay,
good. I'd love to have you on so we can all talk.
Yeah. All right, fellas. Good to see y'all, and have fun with Miss Unicorn over here.
All right, be careful.
Hi. So I basically made a mess in my closet because this was stuck all the way up there and everything just fell down. So I don't think I'm gonna open. I don't think I'm gonna open my closet.
Just open the other door.
Oh yeah.
Just use the other door.
But dude, it's ripped.
Oh, you ripped it.
No,
It
like
sucks.
like it's like hard. Like it just ripped on its own. I don't know if it's because it was just stuck in my closet for a long time.
Oh wow.
But a lot of people, I saw a picture that a lot of people that since they don't have that mask, and if they have something like this, that they're gonna go out in public with this. So yeah, I just think it's hilarious. Because I saw a picture that someone was in a store in line, and he had his Darth Vader mask on.
That's cool as hell.
Yeah.
I have at least one of these,
Yep.
Mhm.
and I would wear this, both of them.
Yeah, I only have that one mainly because of like my wood decor projects, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So, is this one done?
Oh,
Are we getting back on track? 'Cause
I mean, because Mike, you were talking about like the animals and like the environment, the pollution,
Well,
9/11.
I was basically done talking. I mean, I
Oh,
was just
okay.
saying. I hope the big companies pay attention and that they make some changes to help with the global warming.
Mhm.
good facts.
I agree, and hopefully it comes to that point because we don't want acid rain in our future and for our little minions. So, yeah. Any Hooters?
Time flew by.
Oh yeah, it did. It's almost 3. Holy crap. But yeah, it was a good podcast. Thank you guys for being with me in this podcast and speaking your minds. Daniel, I for sure think that your mind was blown with Michael's evolution section.
That's wild. That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. I don't know what to say, but that's wild.
Nature is wild.
Yep.
Yeah. So, thank you again for being in this podcast. And then for all you listeners and viewers, if you're watching from YouTube or just listening in general, thank you guys for tuning in. There will be more podcasts coming later, but they're going to be very versatile. So, a lot of different topics coming up. So, yeah, stick around for that. And thank you for tuning in to a day of GTV.